Yes, I am Dr. Sister Candy Dikuna. So I'm here with this next technical session for the day 2. And then I have 5 presenters given to my schedule. And may I call upon the first presenter? So before I could call upon the first presenter, please keep a few things in your mind. Make your presentation short. Don't go on reading your paper. Rather than reading your paper, please present your paper and be to the point. And each person can take, maybe now only we have half an hour, 35 minutes, because half of the time is over. I was actually given 1 hour, but I have only 20, 30 minutes, 35 minutes to my credit. So please make it very short, and then go on with your presentation. So may I invite the first presenter? First presenter, Assistant Professor Majda Shahir Faria is the first presenter in my list. Present, Assistant Professor Majda Sabri Faria, College of Education, Baghdad.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes,
Hello.
yes. Okay, very
Am I
much.
audible?
Yeah, you're
Am I
audible.
audible?
Yes, yes, very much.
Welcome, everybody. I would I would like to thank everyone in this conference, especially the committee organization. My topic. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, yes, you can.
First of all, I would like to say my topic title, Studying the Phonological Characteristic of Antonyms, of course in English. I am assistant prof from Al Mustansiriya University College of Education, Baghdad, Iraq. And also I am a PhD student at Gujarat University here in India. First of all, I would like to present my abstract in very short words. I will talk about antonym, which is a prominent concept in a language that is used as a tool to express unique lexical semantic relationships between two words. These words are characterized by semantic, lexical, morphological, and pragmatic features. All these aspects are highlighted by many studies in different countries, but there is a neglected aspect, namely the phonological one, which is thoroughly ignored by researchers and scholars. Thus, the importance of my study lies in uncovering this level of analysis and exploring the phonological characteristic of antonyms. The researchers argue here for a phonological approach to explore and analyze this phenomenon that could be of benefit to language practitioners and learners. Thus, the objectives of my study is to identify antonyms and other related topics in addition to exploring the phonological segmental characteristics of antonyms. More specifically, I would like to conduct a syllable analysis. Definitely, such an endeavor is going to fill a gap in the literature related to this topic. However, the descriptive analytical approach is used in analyzing the data which are selected from the internet site related to antonyms. The paper ends with some conclusions for and also for future needs to make students absorb of this significant phenomena by focusing on this important subject in phonology. especially. This study concludes that no specific, here the conclusion is not not clear too much. It needs more research to arrive at a specific point in this subject. This study concludes that no specific syllable structure pattern to be generalized upon its found. Though there are aspects of similarities among the analyzed data in general. My introduction begins with a definition of antonyms, which is simply refer to contradiction and oppositeness, which are completely present in our life. There is nothing in which there is no contradiction in our life. The notion of antonyms adds something aesthetic to a language, not English language in specific, but in every language in this universe. Uh, this phenomenon enriches the human languages. Thus, it deserves studying in all its aspects. Therefore, the importance of the current research is to deal with antonyms from a phonological viewpoint, since it is an ingrown side in this regard. The problem of this study can be summarized in the following question. What is antonyms? If there are specific phonological characteristics of antonyms, what are they? Are there any patterns of similarity or differences between the antonyms that occur? What are the benefits of knowing these characteristics for language practitioners in general and students in particular? Uh, Let me continue in my introduction. Slide number 3. Yes. Uh, I'll continue in my introduction. Slide number 4. The county study hypothesizes that English antonyms have specific phonological characteristics that could be of benefit for language learners. However, the primary objectives are as follows: shedding light on the phenomena of antonym in English, providing a theoretical background of antonyms, exploring the phonological characteristics of antonyms to know their syllable structure. In addition, the present research is concerned or is confined to analyzing phonological segmental structure of antonyms. More specifically, it is limited to syllable structure analysis only. Any other segmental or suprasegmental characteristics are beyond the scope of this analysis. In the analysis, the researcher divides the words into syllables and then analyze them into their structure in order to explore the patterns and know if there are specific patterns that characterize antonyms. Let me jump to the conclusion to save your time. I think my conclusion is that from the examples that are analyzed in this study, uh, which are taken in detail, the researcher, the researcher cannot elicit a specific syllable structure pattern between the members of each pair of antonyms to make generalization upon it. No, she can elicit a general syllable structure pattern from the whole data, although some syllable structure, for example, have the normal or the simple syllable structure, which is consonant, vowel, consonant. But 50% of the world have other structure pattern. For example, syllable structure that is complex, that consists of more than one syllable, or there is a syllable structure that can be more consonant at the beginning or at the end of the syllable. For example, the syllable pattern CVV is also found in the data that are analyzed. The pattern CCVCCA is also found in the data that are analyzed. These are my conclusion. The main of them, there is no specific syllable structure pattern that can be generalized about this approach, or about this phonological approach to antonym. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I am pleasure to know your questions.
Yes, Majda, you have actually presented your paper, but the thing is, the screen was not clear. I think you have presented your paper from the mobile screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so the screen was not clear and too much of stuff you have kept, so it was not clear. But still, what I understood is you are trying to present all about the characteristics of antonyms. So you
Yeah.
have given actually the etymology, and then you have talked about the morphological terms, and then you have brought out structure and all in your paper. So is it your research paper? I mean, are you a
Yes,
research scholar? Are you doing a research on the particular topic?
yes, yes, of course.
Yes. So are you referring to any theoretical books like linguistic books to explore this
Yes,
theory?
yes, yes, of course.
So
There are
what?
many in the cases.
Okay, what are the books you are referring for this particular topic?
Many of them is antonym and antonyms in English, or semantic analysis of antonym in Sweden, and other references.
Okay, so if you actually explore, you will find good books on semantics. Especially, you can also go from the morphological point of view, how the word is segregated, and then what is the. First of all, if you want to do this research on antonyms, you also should know the synonym of it, right? The meaning of a word. So if you know the meaning of the word only, you will know the opposite part of the words, right? So
Of
it's a
course,
very
yeah,
interesting topic because I have seen people doing on vocabulary, but very
yes,
seldom I have come across people doing on antonyms. So all the very best, and I wish that you present many more papers and you present it on the computer so that people will be able to see your screen,
yeah.
and then it will become, people will come to know better about the topic. So
Yes, I
sometimes,
wish that. I wish that, but I'm here in India. I didn't bring my computer with me, so I'm
yes,
so sorry.
yes, yes, I do understand. So all the best to you. You have presented well, and this is something new topic. So that's the reason I'm encouraging you. So thank you
Thank
for
you
your
so much.
presentation.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. And I would like to thank you and thank the organizing committee. It is a wonderful arrangement and accurate time sessions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. So may I call upon the next presenter? I think Arvind, the research scholar, Department of Geography,
Yes, ma'am.
University of Rohtak, and I think this is a joint paper with Deepak Dalal. So
Yes,
please
ma'am.
present the title of your paper and also tell us about yourself, and then plunge into the topic. Just give a brief description about your abstract and the concerns of your paper. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Myself, Arvind from Rohtak, and basically I'm a research scholar, Department of Geography, Baba Masnad University, Rohtak. And my topic for the research is urbanism, a study of village, Maina. This village is basically in Rohtak district, and we have studied the different scenarios of this village, that this village is growing rapidly with the with urban facilities, and this is our topic.
Okay.
I would like to start with my topic. Let me share my screen. Okay. If my screen is visible, share it.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Basically, my topic is about the urbanism, a way of life which we used to live in the urban areas, the culture and the evolution of urban society.
Okay.
Okay, and the term urbanism can be defined in the following ways: that CB Memoria is the opinion is of the opinion that urbanism is a culture, social, economic phenomena which traces interaction between the social and technological processes. Basically, the urbanism is a way of life which we live in the urban areas, the standard economic activities which we do, the social and the cultural activities which we live, which we do and live in the urban areas. And let's basically, the objective of our study was to study the economic status of that particular village, that how much they are developed, how much they are using the uh, new technology and new facilities of the urban areas. And secondly, to study the rural area with particular reference to urban indicators. We were trying to differentiate between the rural and urban areas, that how much they are nowadays. We can see that in rural areas also there are so much facilities. There are electricity available almost whole day, and there are transportation facilities available. Even in each houses, peoples are having motorcycle, bike and car, and other facilities also they are having in their houses. And also we also know about the we also know wanted to know about the social and cultural change, because we see that in urban areas the social and cultural behavior, it changes. Because like we talk about the social behavior, like in urban areas mostly people do not know about their neighbor. Even they do not help others like we help in rural areas. So we also know about the behavior and the social and cultural change of rural areas which we are having in our locality of the rural areas. And the database for this research was the basically primary data. We have done this survey, done the survey. We go house to house to collect the data. We have prepared a questionnaire for that this particular thing, and we go house. And our research area was Mina. Uh, okay. Our research area was the village, which was located on the route of Jajjar. And Jajjar is also a district, and Rohtak Jajjar Road. And Rohtak is a district which I think we all know about, because Rohtak is a particular known for education and politics in Haryana. And it is governed by the Maina village is governed by the Rohtak administration, Rohtak district administration. And 2011, according to the data of 2011, Maina village has the population of 4,599, of which 20. Okay, we will not talk about the population. We directly come to the point. These are some basically demographic facilities, available facilities in the village, like total number of houses, population, child, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, literacy, and total workers available in the villages. And some facilities like hospitals, PHC, schools for girls, school for boys, Anganwadi center, road connectivity, rail connectivity, post office. Yes, it is having in banks also, ANM, Asha worker, Panchayat worker, medical store. These kind of facilities, which are mostly are available in the rural area of Maina. And this is basically a map which I prepared from the GIS software, QGIS software, with the help of QGIS software. Now we will shift to our topic. Now we will talk about the characteristics of urbanism. What is urbanism? Basically, what we study in the urbanism, there are we have divided this topic in particular 7 characteristics, like diversity of social life, rapid social and cultural change, impersonalness and lack of intimate communication, metalism, individualism, mobility, increase in formal social control. Okay, so now we will start with our first topic, the norm and social conflict, the diversity of social life. So diversity of social life we see that the population is changing, various occupation, class structure. Like we see in the past, in the rural areas was only known for the primary activities, but now we are seeing that in the rural areas also. In our study, I personally found that there are most of the people which are converting from primary to secondary and secondary to tertiary activities. They are converting to tertiary sectors also. And rapid social and cultural change. There is a quite reduced size of modern family. Like we see in the past, we normally see in the rural areas, there was a combined family. But nowadays, we are seeing that only the husband, wife, and children are living alone. And next one is the impersonalness and the lack of intimate communication. Like I told you that in the urban areas, the person living in the urban areas, they do not know about their neighbor. Even they do not know the name of their neighbor. And like this also in rural areas, this is also increasing. Like they are not being very close to their relations. But in our past, as we know, like in rural areas, they help each other very much. They live like a family, even if they do not relation. There is no relation between others, but they live like a family. And the metallism, and fourth point is metallism. Facilities which are used by the rural areas, like bank balances, assets, salaries, buildings, and modern furnishing. Like I have seen many houses in rural areas which do like that they are in an urban city. They are making their houses as they are living in urban areas. There are so much changes. Modernization is coming there. Individualism, like self-centered, selfish. In urban areas, in urban society, we usually see that the most of the peoples are self-centered and selfish, and so on. And like this only, in rural areas also, this kind of things are also getting changed. And mobility, like we see that in the rural areas, there was even a single bus for the whole day to go to the city or to go outside the village. But nowadays, we are seeing that in every hour or in every second hour, there is a bus or there is other facility. Even they are having their personal vehicles in their houses. And increase in formal social controls. And social control, if we talk about the social control, like we see that there is a big role of the panchayat or panchayat members in controlling the village decisions. But nowadays, the panchayat control is shifting to the police, courts. Peoples are going to court and police stations to deal their any kind of problem. Now we will see that what are the causes for urbanization, what lead to the urbanization. First one is the industrialization. Like we are seeing that for the employment opportunities, there are the population is shifting to the urban areas also, but by the help of the government, there are some industries which are being set up in the rural areas. Okay, so that's why for better employment opportunities, they are shifting to urban areas also, and some industries which are being set up in the rural areas. Because of that, also the condition of rural areas are being changed, and the social factors like people are thinking they are very much attracted to cities. They admire cities, they admire urban areas, the facilities which for the better standard of living, for the better educational facilities, and need for the status. Like in locality rural areas, they also want to drive a big car and also live a fashionable life. And the next one is the social factor. Sorry, employment opportunities. Employment opportunities for better employment opportunities. People are shifting to urban areas for modernization. Like urban areas are characterized by sophisticated technology, better infrastructure, communication, medical facilities. Like there are most of the facilities are available in the urban areas. That's why people are shifting to the modernization, and these kind of facilities are also shifting to the rural areas nowadays. Now, what are the effects of urbanization? Effect is basically there are two sides of everything. Like a coin has a two side. Like likewise, urbanism is also having two sides: positive effect and some negative effects also. Like positive effects are migration of rural people to urban areas, employment opportunities in urban areas, transport and communication facilities, education facilities, increase in standard of living. These kinds of facilities are available, and these are positive effect. But what about the some negative, but adverse effects, like problem of overpopulation? We are seeing that most of the people are migrating to urban areas, and like we see Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Chennai. These are heavily populated cities, metropolitan cities nowadays. We see lots of people are living by the roads, living by the living in a very bad condition, jhuggi jhopdi. They are living in a jhuggis. Okay. And second is the disintegration of joint family. Because of urbanization, we are seeing that high cost of living. Because of high cost of living in urban areas, and because of high standard of living, people prefer to live in a nuclear type of families. They don't want the burden of their family members. They just want to live alone, or with just there with wife and children's only. And the cost of living, like in for the region of joint family, disintegration of joint family, cost of living, like metro cities, Mumbai, Bangalore. In such cities, high cost of living is major problem. Most of the people, like we say that in urban areas, if we want to buy vegetables, we want to buy fruits, even the basic requirements we want to fulfill, we have to pay a huge amount for that. But in rural areas, the amount for the same things are very much less for these things. And a negative effect, next effect is the crime rates, increase in crime rates. Urban centers are also known for the high rate of crimes, theft, dacoity, murder, cheating, pickpocketing, rape. These kind of negative effects are also seen in the urban areas because of urbanism. And impersonal relation, next one is the impersonal relation. Like I told you that in the urban areas, they even don't know about their neighbor names, and community relations are not very good in the urban areas, and they are very selfish. We can say that in the urban areas, mostly people are very selfish. And the problem of pollution also, because of urbanism, because of the population increasing in the urban areas, or because of these kind of facilities like transportation we are using, electricity we are using, AC, fridge, these kind of things create pollution. We all know about that. And the last one is the stress is in, I think in the past we do not discuss about the stress or the pressure or the depression kind of word, but nowadays we are seeing that in the urban areas, people are living alone, people are living a very fast life, and because of that, there is a new disease came, that is stress, depression. We are also seeing these kind of things, and this is a very common disease nowadays, we can say. People are facing these days stress, depression. Now, what are the result and discussion? When we do the survey in the village, what we find out that the diversity of social life, you have from size, density, heterogeneity of the population, extreme specialization of various occupation, class structure. Like we can see that we have collected the data on the basis of different categories. Like landless, we have 27.45%, less than 1 acre. Like the size of land holding is also being changed. Landless farmers are very much, land less than 1 acre is also very much. Like only 10 acre, more than 10 acre, only 4 people are having more than 10 acre in that village, and 5 to 10 only 17. So we can say that the land of size holding is getting also changed, and the type of land holding, like because we cannot say that the whole land is irrigated land, or the fertile land, irrigated, semi-irrigated, dry land. And next one is the annual income. Most of the people are having 190 people जो families respondent है, which were having 3,50,000 annual salary, but above sorry till they were having 3,50,000 salary, 190 member families. Children which are going to government school 67, public school 73, English medium school 29. Like English medium is like a private schools which are which give much better facilities with higher fees, and they are converting to this private schools also. And like type of family, joint family 145, but unitary family, nuclear family 92. This is a this data is also very big. This is converting day by day. And size of family, like more than 4 members 119, but 2 to 4 members, only 2 to 4 members 106 members, which are having only 106. Literacy rate and the average marriage age, like we are seeing. Wait. Average marriage age in the family, below 20 years 21, and 18 to 21 104, and about 21 119. Like we see in the rural areas, mostly people try to get their children married at earlier ages. They try to get them married at the 18 or 21, but because of the government laws, now we cannot allow them to marry before 21 or 18. Girls for 18 and 21 for the boys, but this condition is also changed recently. So, and but this data was collected before that, and that's why we can see that about 21 years, like they are giving them some chances to get educated for the higher educations. Next one is metalism. Like what kind of facility? We have collected the data of which facilities they are using in their houses. Like most of the peoples are having fans and electricity, and they are having electricity connection was in every houses, and air conditions and fridge, television, and cooler domestic jo, they use different facilities: flush system, surface drainage system facility, LPG gas connection, water supply by tap. These kind of facilities which are available in the urban areas nowadays, these are also available in the rural areas also. Mostly in the most of the families, they are having these kind of facilities like water supply by tap, LPG gas connections. They are having these facilities in the rural areas. Like, okay. And the social control, like love marriage is not in the urban areas, it is quite common, but in these areas this is not common. But still it is not common in the rural areas. Like in this village, we have only one love marriage. We found only one love marriage, and arranged marriage, others was arranged marriage. And civil marriage was, there was no civil marriage. They are not registering their marriage in the court. But and some police case was also there, 5 cases, and civil cases in court was only 3 at in this village. And now we will talk about the facilities which are they using. Impersonal facilities. Individualism, which facilities they are using in the village. Banking habits, like impersonal, banking habits, ATMs, ATM card, credit card, and the health insurance, life insurance, property insurance, doctor. We have also surveyed their occupation also. Like 3 doctors was in their village, 4 teachers, government jobs. 55% were at government job, and 60 were doing self business. Mobile connections, 222 houses has mobile connection, 190 houses were having internet connection also. They are using internet facilities at this time of period. And there is a private hospital, like 100 families are going to the private hospital for any problem, and others 117 were going to PHC or local jo aapka primary health centers and other facilities provided by the government. They are using these kind of facilities. Now we will talk about the mobility. Like mobility in urban areas, we see mostly people travel daily. In urban areas, we travel daily for work, and for other facilities also we have to go outside and we have to travel. And like there are most of the person, they are in the city, which are working in another city and which are living in another city. And in this village, every day 87 persons, 87 family members are going outside once a week from the village. This data is collected that they are going outside the village. 87% are going outside the village daily, and 33 months in a week, 47 months in a month, and 19 months in a year, which are not going in outside. And what about next one is the availability of vehicle. Availability of motorcycle, 162 family members having motorcycle, car and jeep 31, tractor 28, and cycle 16. These kind of vehicles they are having in their houses nowadays. So these facilities are only available in urban areas, but we can see that in urban areas also these, in rural areas also these facilities are also available. Now the conclusion: Haryana is one of the most developed state in India. We can see that in the agriculture sector, in other industries also, and in other platforms also. Haryana is growing very rapidly. It has established new dimension of development in every field. Not only urban areas of Haryana are developed, but rural areas are also setting new dimensions of development. Like we are seeing that from the other poor states, uh, many peoples are coming to Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, and Uttar Pradesh for doing work. They are migrating to these states. And in this study discuss urbanism in rural areas. Urbanism facilities in village Maina have been studied. The village has been selected for study, which is located 5 kilometers from the Rohtak city on the national highway number 71. And for the study, 5 components of urbanism have been selected: the diversity of social life, metalism, social control, individualism, mobility. And diversity of social life in the village, which is an element of urban facility, is very rich. And the literacy rate is more than 80%, and 72% of the children of the village are students in public schools. More than 50% of families are small families. And the average marriage age is village above is 18 years and above. Mostly, they are mostly educated. There is no young age marriage. There was no even a single case of child marriage. And the residents of a village have possession of various urban material. They are having various urban material facilities. Maximum family. And most of the families are using various urban materials. Maximum families are involved in agriculture activities but have high income. And every resident of village enjoys electricity, drinking water facility, and flush toilet facilities. The majority of families have LPG facility for gas cooking. Social control in the village is very strong. Panchayat is playing an important role in social behavior of the people. There is a very single case of civil marriages recorded in the study. Like we have seen that there was no police case, and there was some cases, 3 or 4 cases was there, but not more than that. This shows that the panchayat is controlling the social behavior, the social activities of the village. And the residents of the village are using modern banking facilities, ATM, credit card, internet banking, and some residents have health and property insurance also. And the mobility among the people of the village is very strong. Like they are moving to cities, nearby cities, for their work or for other things. And most of the families have the personal transport vehicles. And it is the conclusion of our study that the residents of the village have urban facilities, but they are very conservative in social behavior. They are using the urban facilities, but in a social behavior, in their culture behavior, they still are very conservative. They are still using the old techniques, old cultural things. They are still enjoying. So this is all about my research work. And if you are having any kind of queries, you can ask, please.
So Arvind Dalal, it was a very good presentation.
Thank you.
So may I know from which village are you coming?
Ma'am, basically I am from Mandoti. There is a village in Jajjar district, but I am living in Rohtak city from past 22 years.
Okay. So it was a very good presentation. You have explored almost each and every area of that particular city, which you call it as once upon a time it was a village. And then you have also given how it has developed. So I can understand that it would be a very difficult task for you to go and carry out survey and houses to houses and find out all the details.
Yes,
and then
ma'am.
about the family. So it's a very good research. I appreciate you and I congratulate you. Only your sharing, just like unlike the first presenter, you also shared through the mobile, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this kind of data, if it is really good, see if it is presented on the screen, people
Yes,
will have a
ma'am.
better view, better look at it, and then you can
Yes,
really
ma'am.
bring. And then my simple suggestion is you can also add some pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
You are missing the pictorial part, ancient pictures and the modern pictures. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think they may have some antique pictures of the village, which will add little more because it is a geography. It
Yes,
will add weightage to your research, because
yes,
even a picture plays a very important role, right?
yes, ma'am.
Try to collect all those important aspects and try to develop it.
Sure.
Anyway, thank you. Nice listening to you, and then all the very best for your research.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Yes. So may I call upon the third presenter, Anjali Chaudhary, research scholar, HRM and OB, to present her paper on a systematic literary review on neuro leadership and emotional intelligence. So please make your paper very short. Don't go on reading your paper. Please make your presentation short. Already we are running in short of time. Already my time duration is over. It's already 4 now. But I have still 2 more presenters to do. One more, 2 more presenters. So please make it short. Is Anjali Chaudhary available? Is she there? Anjali? If Anjali is not there, the next presenter, Gopal Krishna PR.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Your voice is echoing. Your voice is echoing. I think you have kept a mobile nearby. 2 devices are kept side by side. Please disconnect one device. Tell the title of your paper to the audience and begin with your paper presentation and make it a very short paper.
Okay, ma'am, my paper sketches nationalism to post-nationalism. And the idea that I want to convey is that we live in an era of global development and the concept of nation. Sorry. And we have already celebrated the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav just now. But the concept of nation and how it evolved into and what the aspects of it are. So I'll simply just go through it. And as you said, there is a limitation on the time. And actually, the concept of nation is a multi-dimensional aspect where very much aspect of it consists of community and other related aspects of it. And all these things amalgamate and form the idea of a nation. And we all hail to, or we are actually proud to be called to be from a certain nation. But this concept actually is something which is uh, a complex one because we are proud to call ourselves Indian, of course. I'm sure you and I all are, but we don't know the territory at all completely, not know the people at all. But still, we claim ourselves to be Indian, and of course, we are proud of it. And the boundaries, the cartographic limitations, which make the nations, of course, at us or something which is really important. But when we move on to fast forward to our present living circumstance, we can find that there is a global environment, the global market, or even the global village as an old cliched term. It has made the concept even more confusing or even more grayish. So it is a multidimensional concept, and people who believes in or relates to certain common communal aspects are connected, and they are formed the idea of a closeness or togetherness of a nation. And there is, of course, there is another aspect of it where the majority has its prominence, and that aspect also is something which comes under this greater task. So nationalism is sometimes conceived to be a political aspect, and the origin of this idea, it is actually twice, we can say there is two kinds actually, the primordialistic or the constructivist notion, where the first idea considers nation as an objectively existing idea rather than which is created by something or factors which collude to form this idea. So the second constructivist notion considers this to be an idea which is created by the other factors which adds to it and generates this kind of idea, and it has its national symbols and the reverence to it, a national flag, of course, which demands a certain amount of respect to it. And the generated idea is as such that the people belonging to that particular country should adhere to certain etiquette with regard to these kind of aspects. And of course, there is a code Nation is an imagined political community by Benedict Anderson, which separates our people from other people. And what makes this our and other is something which is really important, because people who believe or have a shared set of ideology comes under this our section, and people who doesn't comes under other. For example, if you can take the old English aspect of it, you can see that there was a practice called beating of the bounds, where people, it was actually a ritual where people would march around that territory and beat around geographical boundaries like trees or great constructions or anything like that, and establish that, even remind the earth itself that this is the territory and this is the boundary of it, and outside that it is something else, and within that we are all a united community. And the other aspect of it, where the majority has its command. So John Stuart Mill calls it the tyranny of the majority. So nationalism is something which is paradoxically, it unifies and at the same time polarizes. So that is the tricky part that I mentioned earlier. It is something which connects all of us together. The Malayali who is from Kerala, or the Punjabi who is from there, or who is we all are connected, but at the same time there is an idea of segregation at work or at play during this idea. And the idea of jingoism, or the excessive patriotic aspect of it. If you consider that, we can find that even great terrorist activities, by claiming them great, I intend to say that the most violent of it hail from, or it has its roots or origin, when people misrepresent or misunderstand this idea and take it to another level of craziness and create such terrible efforts. And there is the economic aspect of it, the global village concept of it, the multinational companies which comes into play, and the global economy now. It is thriving, and it is time that we understand we are living in a realm of post-national concept, or even after that. And I have cited two examples of European Union and Commonwealth nations. And India, of course, is a member of the Commonwealth nations, and European Union, which was formed in 1951. And Brexit, for example, it was a concept, the idea of Britain exiting from the European Union, and it is not simply a political phenomenon, it had its economic aspect also. And for example, if we take our case, for example, we are obsessed with, or we are concerned with wearing branded clothes, for example, or using products which are manufactured. Even the very phone or laptop which we use for this presentation, it is an assemblage from various countries. The boundaries which segregate these countries are blurring away. The ideas, the homogeneous aspects which once were considered to be the major core of this nationalistic ideology is being changing, and it is a positive aspect. And of course, the people who misrepresent and misunderstand this aspect lead to violent consequences. The post-nationalism is a process by which the nation states and the national identities lose their importance and become a multiple heterogeneous element. So it creates a transnational identity, and the cartographic or the borderistic aspect of it, which once stood for the inflexibility of the nation, now becomes more liquefied or flexible. And this spatial paradigm has been altered with the coming of this ideology of trans or post-nationalistic aspect, the success of our Hindi film industry, Hollywood or Bollywood, whatever it is, the market that it has, that too can be cited as an example. So economic globalization. And when we talk about economic globalization, one must understand the idea of colonialization or imperialism is still lurking around in specters. That was the title of it for the paper. And the specters of it is still lurking around because it is something which is refusing to be exercised. That is what Ghana's previous president, Kwame Nkrumah, meant by the term neo-colonialism, because colonialism still exists, but it has its nuances in a different manner where the companies or corporations can decide over the national policies or even foreign policies of a nation is decided by or influenced by, to be precise, by the policies of other countries, how they manifest it and how they make use of it for their benefit. So this colonialistic notion is still existing. That factor is also something which is really important. Another concept we must not forget is the idea of the community. The community aspect, the local aspect of the community of the nation is now shifted to the global and local mixture, which we call to be the global aspect of it, which was a term coined by the theorist of globalization, Roland Robertson. And universal articulation of culture is something which is an important aspect of post-nationalism. That is something which is an important aspect of the topic. And the element of uprooting from one's culture and being planted to another culture and amalgamation these ideas and ideologies of various cultures. Even our Vedic country, India, has this idea of unity in diversity. We come from different spatial territories, different provincial states, the Union of States of India. Still, we retain that unity in diversity, and we have that ability or the freedom to disagree, but agree on the common ground that how we agree. And another thing is the cultural hybridization which happens as a result of post-nationalism is, of course, which is something we have to pay attention to. And the discontent, the interdependency will create something which, some forces which will, just like terrorism or the acts of violence in the name of nation or in the name of racial or spatial purity. These aspects also, for example, in the case of Adolf Hitler, he also wanted a pure race. He hated Jews, and you know what happened, the multiple genocides which happened as a result of that. And similarly, in the case of nationalism too, when the people who are too obsessed with the idea of nationalism, they come to power, the act that they do, they have a colossally destructive impact. So that is something that we have to keep in mind, and we have to understand this is something that we have to go. So taking up this idea and making use of it and understanding that this is something that we have to, you know, take up with and take up with great interest and progress, and the emergence of various multinational companies and thriving of other industries in India as well as other countries connected together is all example of the fruitful progress of this idea of post-nationalism. And nationalism is something that we have to keep in mind. Of course, we must have this respect for our country, but we must have that idea of other countries too, and this mixture of culture and opportunities that they provide in the economic sector, in offering job opportunities, in understanding various cultures, in promoting research and other activities, and of course the political aspect of it. Even the very constitution of India is something which is greatly inclusive in nature, and it has ideas from the constitution of other countries, United Nations, US, of course various other countries, and the drafting committee of the constitution itself has collected these ideas and has over long debates and discussions, and of course later amendments have made this country what it is. So that is the final point that we have to keep in mind. That is the soul of my presentation. I hope it is clear to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So Gopal Krishna, nice. That was a very good paper. And I think you also have shared through the mobile screen. So
Ma'am, actually, I'm at a hospital site and there is no option that I can use the laptop at the moment.
okay. So what I want to say is you belong to the Department of English, right?
Of course, ma'am.
Yeah. So you have explored spirit of nationalism in the light of post-national aspects.
Yes.
So this is a theoretical aspects, right?
Yes, of course, ma'am. It contains theoretical aspect, and
Yeah.
there is the ideas of Karl Marx and the concept of hegemony by
Yeah.
Antonio Gramsci.
Very
and,
good.
These
Now,
aspects, of course, this
my concern
Roland
is,
Robertson's idea of local, all these are included, and
yeah.
this heterogeneous
Now my
impact.
concern is, Will you be able to incorporate these ideas to a text? Now you should apply. This is a theory, right? A theory to the text. You should be able to see the nationalism, post-nationalism, multinationalism in a text of the writers.
In a text of the writer.
You have to apply a theory to the text. Now, I also did my research on eco-philosophy. I did my MPhil on existentialism. So they are all theories, but you have to apply a theory to the text. So when you apply this nationalism and try to see in the characters, because you belong to the Department of English, I am also an English professor. So my suggestion to you is, if you apply the theory to the text, it becomes very prominent, and then you can really show the characters in the portrayed by the novelist, whether they are having those kind of.
In E.M. Foster's Passage to India, ma'am, the situation of this idea is, we can throw light upon that, where this character, even though the idea of discrimination in that white man's character is not that evident, still when this lady is surrounded or alone in the dark with an Indian, she screams out of fear. But nothing of any sort happens, but they believe that the black people or the Indians are people who are violent or who take up any opportunity to seduce or violate a woman. This kind of aspects are still there. So there are texts, or there are numerous texts in which we can understand this so-called white man's burden of civilizing the entire world and looting the world in the name of that. Of course, we can make use of any text for that matter.
Okay. Good. Anyway, it was a very good presentation, and continue to write many more papers and present many more papers. So all the best to you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. So the next presenter, Jabin Chandni, research scholar, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, Punjab.
Hello, Candy ma'am.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Jabin.
Hello.
Yes.
Excuse me, Candy ma'am.
Yes, Jabin, I'm here. I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Someone else want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I think so.
Candy ma'am, it's me, Pupi Rigya.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
I was given the slot for 3 to 4, but it seems that 4 p.m. has passed out, and I didn't find my name being announced. So I'm waiting, and I'm quite confused that when I'm to present my paper.
What is your name?
Pupi Rigya, P-U-P-Y, Pupi Rigya. From Arunachal Pradesh. Actually, my chairman was someone from Philippines. I think I missed out. I was in this slot.
You are in this slot. Okay, I was not informed about it. So,
Okay.
What about the coordinator of this slot? Coordinator, can you voice out what exactly I'm supposed to do? Can I accommodate this particular participant?
Yes, ma'am. It's up to your wish, ma'am.
Yeah, and please make it fast. Already we have. We are running short of time. It's already 4:30 going to be now.
Excuse me, ma'am. We have another session, and I am supposed to chair that session. So if the coordinators are here, so kindly let me know what am I supposed to do.
Oh.
I have one more presenter to finish. Her name is Jabin. So this is she is my presenter from my slot.
Yeah.
Right.
So let Jabin present first. After Jabin's presentation, definitely I'll tell you. I think the coordinator should be able to tell us.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking the coordinators, because my slot was at 4 p.m. and I've been waiting for the session to end so that I can begin my session.
Even my session actually started very late. It started very late. So actually the last session also ended up very late. So I took up very late. So I have one more presenter to complete. And I think Riga, I don't know where will she present her paper, whether in this slot or your slot. So let us also.
All right, ma'am. All right,
just one more presenter.
Sure.
Jabin,
Please go on.
what is her name? Jabin. Jabin, please start your paper presentation. Introduce yourself and your paper and make it very short.
All right, ma'am. I will try my best. So a very good evening. to you and all the real listeners. So I, Jabin Chandni from Guru Nanak Dev University, Department of Political Science. So right now I am here presenting the title of the paper is Globalization and China's Belt and Road Initiative. So ma'am, I would like to share my screen.
Okay.
All right. Ma'am, I am also using mobile phone, so sorry for that.
All are using mobiles, all are using. So that shows that how technocrats you have become now. You have become a very much technocrats to use all mobiles. Okay, no problem.
Right, right, ma'am. So uh, because of the lack of time, so I would like to start from introductory part. So first of all, what is globalization? So according to the World Health Organization, globalization can be defined as the increased interconnectedness and interdependence of peoples and countries. It is generally understood to include two interrelated elements. One is the opening of international borders to increasingly fast flow of goods, services, finance, people, and ideas. And second one is the interchange of in institutions and policies at national and international levels that facilitates or promotes such flow. So this is about the definition of globalization. So a little bit we come to the historical part. So what the globalization is and how it came popular. So some people consider global phenomena as inherent to human nature. Throughout time, human societies exchanging trade has been growing. Since the old times, different civilizations have developed commercial trade routes and experienced cultural exchanges. And as well, the migratory phenomena has also been contributing to these population exchanges, especially nowadays, since traveling became quicker, more comfortable, and more affordable. Through military conquest and exploring missions in particular, this phenomena has continued throughout history. The speeding up of globalization, however, did not occur until development of new transportation and communication technologies. The term globalization first became widely used after the second half of the 20th century when world trade expanded and picked up speed. So, because of the trade developments and financial exchange, we often think of globalization as an economic phenomena. Nonetheless, it includes a much wider field than just flow of goods, services, of capital, etc. In 1970s, world economies opened up and the development of free trade policies accelerated the globalization phenomena. As far as Belt and Road Initiative is concerned, it is a strategic action launched by the Chinese government. It has global influence. Its contents are consistent with the structural tendencies of the globalization process. And its mechanisms have taken into account of the concern, interest, actions, and interactions of multiple agents at multiple spheres and levels. So, Belt and Road Initiative is a striking symbol of the rise of China-based globalization at a time when globalization from the West looks to be waning. BRI is a two-pronged initiative that is a component of Xi Jinping's China dream to revitalize the Chinese nation. A belt to connect the vast Eurasian continent with overlaid railways, highways, pipelines, and other infrastructure, and a road to connect China with Southeast Asia and even Africa through ports and other maritime linkages. Originally named as One Belt, One Road, it is now more often known as BRI, that is Belt and Road Initiative. Economic development is the main objective of the Belt and Road Initiative. One significant goal is to promote growth in China's undeveloped hinterland and Rust Belt in order to lessen inequities within the nation. Xi Jinping, the first president of China to attend the World Economic Forum in January 2017, took the initiative to support globalization and against protectionism. Xi Jinping made it clear that during the forum's opening remarks that blaming economic globalization alone for world's issues is inconsistent with reality and would not help solve problems. So the government websites and the state medias of China frequently presented BRI is a beneficial intercultural exchange and reference a time when great civilizations and religions exchanged wisdom over the Silk Road. China, Kazakhstan, and Kazakhstan successfully submitted a combined application to have the Silk Road added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2014. Additionally, China holds a number of art exhibitions with titles like Silk Road, a reflection of mutual learning, and also hosts Silk Road International Film Festival, which is committed to promote mutual understanding. So China is globalizing its strategy of Belt and Road Initiative through projects like China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that is a CPEC, China-Bangladesh, India and Myanmar Economic Corridor, Padma Rail Link, that is in Bangladesh, Horgoz Gateway Dry Port, that is in Kazakhstan, and Batumi Bypass Road Project, that is in Georgia, etc. So my paper is all about that. It explores the role of Belt and Road Initiative in globalization. So comes to the discussion part. Then China's Belt and Road Initiative is closely related with globalization because of its expensive projects like infrastructure, gas line, pipeline, railway, road, bridge, power station, etc. Across Europe, Central Asia, Africa, Asia, and Eurasia via land routes as well as sea routes. According to the official information, in March 2022, 146 countries and 32 international organizations signed the Memorandum of Understanding with China to cooperate under Belt and Road Initiative framework. And this one is the map. This clearly shows the countries of the Belt and Road Initiative, the signatory countries of Belt and Road Initiative. And from the left hand side, we can see the continent-wise countries, how much countries participate in the Belt and Road Initiative projects. The sub-Saharan African countries, that are 43, and then European and Central Asian 35 countries, East Asia and Pacific 25 countries, Middle East and North Africa, that are 18, and South Asia, that are 6. So right hand side of the map shows that year of Memorandum of Understanding signatory countries. So from 2013 to 2020, we can see in the starting initial periods, only around 50 countries have joined. So in 2014, 15, 16, and so on till 2022, now it reached to 146 countries. So it shows clearly the enthusiasm of the countries at global level. They shows their interest in the Belt and Road Initiative. They are taking part in that. So they are investing, they are taking funds, and they are actively participating in it. So if we go through the corridors, there are inland 6 corridors of Belt and Road Initiative. So these corridors are linking through inland, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, then a new Eurasian land-based corridor, China Central West Asia corridor. All these corridors are connecting through land. So around 60 countries are connecting through these very inland corridors. So this is the map that shows how China is connecting through globe, and it closely relates to the new phenomena as globalization. So next is the China BRI investment report of 2021, and this report shows that how China is investing, and which country became the largest gainer, and largest volume of constructions, where it stands. So if we consider, if we see that the majority of Chinese BRI investments are 35% approximately went to the Asian nations, then African and Middle Eastern nations have observed a growing portion of Chinese engagement, that is expanding from 8% in 2022, roughly 38% of BRI engagement in 2021. Then China's financing and investment reached to 46 Belt and Road nations, with 26 getting investments and 37 participating in building. And from there, Iraq has the largest building volume with an estimate of around $10 billion, followed by Serbia and Indonesia. Then China's engagement related to energy sector constitute the majority of Chinese Belt and Road Initiative engagements. So this is all about the data, how China is investing, spending, and funding the countries, and how the other countries are responding in that very particular phenomena. So next come to the impact of Belt and Road initiatives. So China is expanding its reach with the Belt and Road Initiative. This has been going on for a number of years. At present, the Belt and Road Initiative appears to be very successful. It has faced a lot of Western criticism, however. It appears to have been able to finance and build infrastructure in poorer nations that would otherwise had not the opportunity. This includes countries that are rebuilding after wars, such as Libya and Syria, and countries whose infrastructure was decaying, such as Pakistan, and countries in Africa that have not previously been able to afford such development or did not have the skilled labor to build it. So what are the opportunities for the Belt and Road Initiative? So some points have been highlighted, that the host country is getting financed for large infrastructure projects that they would not normally be able to afford. Then second one is China has projects that employs workers and use products such as steel equipments, etc., which in turn directly or indirectly boost the employment and manufacturing sectors. So next one is China is now introducing soft belt and road infrastructure in the form of introducing regional trade agreements. These reduce tariff barriers and open regional markets to improve trade. Examples are China's diplomatic leading in helping African countries successfully negotiate the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and its participation in other agreements such as Regional Comprehensive and Economic Partnership and all that. So next one is the project has tremendous size and scope. Belt and Road economies account for 1/3 of global GDP and trade and close to 2/3 of world population. For some BRI countries, poverty ratios, the percentage of the people living the BPL below poverty line, are still high. 5% in Kenya, then 23% in Uzbekistan and Djibouti, and laws are around 21%. If BRI projects are successful, they stand to benefit a large number of poor people and huge swath of the world's economies, with large positive spillover effects on global warfare. So next is BRI economies are increasingly integrated with the rest of the world and with each other. BRI countries' contribution to global exports has nearly doubled in last 2 decades. But a handful of BRI economies, most notably China, are responsible for the lion's share of those exports. So next comes to the challenges. What are the challenges for Belt and Road Initiative? Projects are created that are too large and too elaborate for the host country. This tremendous increased costs. If a host country cannot repay the loan, China will lease the infrastructure sometimes for 99 years. This is a form of taking control part of the host country. There is currently a 99-year lease on Sri Lanka's Hambantota port because they could not afford the loan repayments. So next is projects use Chinese financing, hire Chinese firms, and employ only Chinese workers. State-owned enterprise carrying out BRI projects that have been criticized for not using local labor forces, for disregarding environmental concerns, and for corruption. Then projects are signed with the host country, but there is no transparent bidding process for contractors. Chinese firms are chosen, all without the host country's input. This lack of transparency is concerning. The lack of transparency from Chinese loans may disqualify host countries from International Monetary Fund and World Bank loans. So loans to host countries may have been skimmed and paid to country politicians, all without any proof on papers. So come to the concluding part. No doubt China's BRI project is at par with globalization as it connects the world through in its 6 inland corridors that I have already explained about, and the maritime roads. So China made tremendous investment in construction projects like CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, New Eurasia Land Bridge connects Liaoning in China, Jiangsu province with Rotterdam to Holland. After going through the opportunities and challenges of Belt and Road Initiative, it can be analyzed that China's BRI project brings both disappointments and hopes for the global world to make China's Belt and Road Initiative a win-win game for all. China needs to provide more autonomy to participating countries in terms of project investments, choosing labor and financing loans. Thus, BRI need more of China's cooperation rather than China being just the host nation for BRI, so that the benefits are allocated to all. So that's my paper presentation. Thank you.
That was a good paper, Jabin. May I know which stream do you belong to?
I'm from Political Science Department.
Okay, yeah, from political science. So it is really, you have justified your paper, and then you have explored very beautifully on Chinese concerns and the concerns of Asia also. So they should not be merely a host country, but they should also
Right.
support projects. Very good. So all the very best for your future projects. So
Thanks
I
a
am done.
lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, very good. I think you should publish your paper in a very good reputed journal like Scopus Index or Web of Science or something. You have to see a good journal and get it published.
Thanks for encouraging, ma'am. Definitely, I will go for it now.
Yeah, there are free publications. Don't go for paid publications, but go for free publications.
Definitely.
Okay.
Surely,
Okay.
ma'am. Surely, ma'am.
Okay.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
time. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.